Take a breath, Patriots Nation. Tonight felt like a switch flipping in Foxborough. There's a young cannon who started slow and detonated after halftime, a locker room message that tightened standards on defense, a name from inside the division that could turbocharge the backfield, and a veteran target who stamped his arrival with 6 points, the thread tying it all together, confidence, execution, and a plan that's starting to scare the AFC. Do you feel something bigger forming here? You won't believe what we've got today, seriously. So get comfy, drop a like, and let's dive straight in, because the next few minutes might change how you see this team. It begins as a whisper and ends as a roar at Gillette. Drake Maye is absolutely pushing his way into the MVP conversation. You can tell when a team finds its tempo. In today's 32-13 win over the Browns, the drumbeat arrived in the third quarter when the arm lit up and the entire city could feel it. Against a defense that usually swallows quarterbacks, on a night when Myles Garrett wreaked havoc, this smelled like a trap. After a sluggish start, the gears finally engaged, and once they did, nobody could hold New England down. The numbers only tell part of it. 18 of 24, 242 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, plus 53 on the ground. The other piece is the 78.3% completion rate and the veteran-level distribution. 7 different receivers got a catch. The sequence that changed the bar came right after halftime. 3 touchdown passes in the third quarter, points on every possession in that frame. And the signature? A laser to Keyshawn boot that knifed through a tiny window and seemed to slow down midair. Perfect mechanics, surgical timing. That's the snapshot of year 2 Maye. Aggressive when it's time to punch, measured when the game demands patience, always ready to punish a coverage mistake. There are still lessons. The offense walked into the locker room with just 3 field goals. The standard for a contender is a cleaner start, but maturity showed up after the break. Better reads, play action suddenly respected, and Maye's legs forcing linebackers to freeze for half a beat. And that half beat opens the world. With Trevayon Henderson stacking 75 yards on 10 carries and Ramondre Stevenson hammering between the tackles, the playbook breathed and the defense lost the script. It's what we pictured back in August. If Maye played at a high level, 6-2 by Halloween was real. Here we are atop the AFC East and the identity is locking in. The national voices tried to downplay what he did in the first half of the year. That's fine. The field answers. Today was a stamp, efficiency, timely explosion, and the poise to flip the switch at halftime. Maye isn't just playing well. He's dictating the vibe of the game and accelerating this roster's growth. You want margin for improvement? Faster openings, fewer red zone misses, and even more tempo on first down. If this was the warning shot, November is the filter that separates dreamers from teams that impose their will. And that wasn't even the most surprising thing to come out of Foxborough. While we're buzzing about our quarterback's evolution, a spark from the other side of the AFC East could become a wildfire in Foxborough. The name has been bouncing among insiders and local radio since the afternoon. Breece Hall. Explosive runner, contract entering its final year, and a sideline line that blew up the timeline. Hold this. If the right window opens, phones in New York might light up with a 508 area code. The spark came from the bench. According to CBS reporter Aditi Kinkabula, Hall said his job is to show I deserve to stay, or audition for other teams. And then he dropped the message. If you don't want me, that's your loss. I'll come back and torch you. That tone shakes any locker room and any front office looking for an instant jolt in the backfield. In Foxborough, the smoke already existed. Need, opportunity, fit. Why does this make sense for the Patriots? Reality check. Without Antonio Gibson, ACL, the rotation behind Ramondre Stevenson and rookie Trevayon Henderson is thin. We love the committee, but we're missing that spark that turns 2nd and 8 into 3rd and manageable. Hall creates yards after contact, catches naturally, and fits Alex Van Pelt's design as a 1A piece, splitting volume with Stevenson without telegraphing calls. Price and rivalry are the wall. Trading inside the division adds attacks. Mike Rice at ESPN floated the number, something like a 3rd rounder or the equivalent, to pry an intra-division talent loose. And there's more. Despite the buzz and the players' public heat today, reports say the Jets hesitate due to their own depth issues. So it's not just about desire, it's about beating the AFC East tax. Timeline matters. The trade deadline lands on Tuesday, November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, every call weighs. Every contract detail becomes leverage. On field, the fit is seducing. Outside/inside zone with burst to turn the corner, screens and structured checkdowns to ease pressure on Maye, and a nastier play-action menu. Picture tired defenses in the fourth quarter dealing with thunder and lightning, physicality to shorten downs and pop to punish exhausted fronts, and the fan base, already split down the middle, half yelling send the third and close it, half worried about helping a rival with draft capital. I'll flip it back to you. If the window is cracking open right now, what's the price of pressing the accelerator? Because what happens next could reorder the front office's priorities. Behind the scenes in Foxborough, not everything was a victory dance after win number 5 in a row. Christian Barmore, one of the pillars of this defense, sat the entire first quarter and exited without speaking to the media. That's a rare silence for an intense player who's been through so much. Minutes later, Mike Vrabel didn't mince words. My job is to protect the team. When I see actions that don't align with what we're about, I make a decision and we move on. It was enough to trigger whispers of discipline, but those who follow closely know Barmore fought a real battle last year. The same guy who eats double teams and forces mistakes nearly saw his career stall from a serious health scare, blood clots that wiped out his 2024 camp. He returned in week 11, played 4 games, then had to step away again. His story is resilience, and maybe that's exactly why Vrabel used the opening quarter shock, a quick standard-setting reminder. When Barmore finally checked in during the second quarter, the impact was immediate. He helped force intentional grounding in the end zone that set up a late safety, pure recognition, and explosion. The crowd, confused at first, started chanting his name again. The perfect answer delivered on the field. This episode reveals 2 things. Vrabel won't hesitate to send a message, no matter the name, and the locker room is maturing. Barmore now sits at 12 tackles, 2 TFLs, and 4 QB hits on the year. Solid numbers for someone still reclaiming rhythm. More important, he looks healthy and mentally ready to be that interior terror he projected coming out of Alabama. At Gillette Stadium, the energy was nearly tangible. And it wasn't just about the margin on the scoreboard. It was because, finally, Stefon Diggs found the end zone wearing red, white, and blue. With 6:45 left in the third quarter, Maye fired a 1-yard strike that detonated the building. Diggs' first touchdown as a Patriot and his first of the season. A symbolic, almost cathartic moment for an offense rediscovering itself. Diggs arrived with the mandate to be the trustworthy target New England hasn't truly had since Julian Edelman, and he's delivered. Leading the team with receptions and yards even before this week, the veteran is still one of the league's cleanest route runners, precise, technical, and now rewarded with points. The call was simple but pristine. Play fake, pocket movement, surgical separation, quick ball from Maye, touchdown, roar, and maybe the instant where quarterback and unit aligned emotionally. But Diggs' impact goes beyond the box score. He's the veteran shepherding a young room without needing a captain's patch. 1 year removed from a torn ACL, he inspires with discipline and grind. He weathered summer criticism for a party and answered in the most Patriots way possible: work and consistency. Vrabel sees him as an extension of his philosophy: intensity with purpose. That touchdown wasn't just another 6 points. It confirmed the offense is maturing. Maye distributes the ball well, but when it's third down and tense, his eyes still find Diggs. It's chemistry in progress, and it changes this team's ceiling. Gillette, once spoiled by Brady to Edelman magic, is beginning to embrace a new duo. If this connection keeps compounding, nobody will want to draw New England in December. One more layer on Maye's night that matters on film review: the pace. New England mixed in quick game to neutralize edge pressure, then used tempo spurts after explosives to keep Cleveland in base looks. That sequencing matters because it lets Maye change the launch point: boot, half roll, sprint out, and turn a pass rush into a chase drill. When a quarterback forces defenders to guess at angles instead of firing from set spots, windows grow and mistakes follow. As for the Hall rumor, think short yardage and red zone math. Too many drives this year have stalled inside the +30, where space shrinks and execution has to spike. Hall's burst attacks the perimeter before safeties arrive, and his hands demand attention from linebackers. Even when he doesn't touch the ball, motioning him across the formation alters run fits and can bait a check that sets up a backside glance or a quick hitter to the slot. On Barmore, the quiet part is leadership. Defensive rooms read body language, and a first quarter benching says the standard is non-negotiable. That's how cultures reset. You hold a good player to a high bar, he responds, and the room follows. If he channels that jolt into week-to-week dominance, the ripple effect hits third down packages, where his interior push pairs with simulated pressures outside. Back to Diggs, the timing with Maye is all about trust throws. When a receiver wins with pacing, stutter, rocker step, snap out, He's open before he's open. Maye is learning to let it go when Diggs hits the landmark, not after he clears. That half click of anticipation is how slants become YAC and how digs turn into drive extenders. Zooming out, the Patriots are starting to look multiple on offense and mean on defense. Multiple means you can major in different things week to week, inside zone one Sunday, RPO, and quick game the next, without losing identity. Mean means you tackle, rally, and punish mistakes, put those together, and you're a problem when the weather turns